everyone. Welcome to Rockhound Talk Live, the only live Rockhound podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I am your host, Amber Nicole, and this is my co host, Ben Korn. If you currently aren't subscribed to Rockhound Talk Live on YouTube, please subscribe and click that bell for notifications when we go live. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hey Amber, I'm doing pretty good. I've been very busy. I also some rock hounding news in my life. Our mineral club does an auction at least once a year, and we had an auction that they had some lapidary equipment, and so
Oh, yeah.
I am now the proud owner of a nice 10-inch trim saw. So
Nice.
I'm very
Very nice.
excited for that. It needs some fixing up. I've realized that the auto feed on it doesn't work. So
Okay.
I gotta fix that, and I'm pretty sure it might need a new blade, so I've got to kind of look at that. It also has a plastic cover that goes on top of it,
Yeah.
and it's completely like shattered and broken. And so I was just looking online, it's like $125 to get a new one. So I might wait on that, but for the price I got it for, I am extremely happy. So just a shout out to anyone that is like looking for um some really nice like equipment, or rocks in general. Your local lapidary club, if they've got some swaps or shows going on, those are great place to find stuff.
Yes, yes. I heard you got, yeah, I saw your post. You got a good deal on it. So that's excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you'd be surprised. Like, just even at like flea markets and stuff, like it always surprises me to see like rockhounds that, older rockhounds that had equipment. And I don't know why it's so shocking to me to think like people have all done this stuff for years for me, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like they were cutting rocks and doing all these things. Like, I know it's not a new hobby, but it's just always really cool to see that these things have existed for years and that you can purchase them for a fraction of the cost at flea markets, garage sales. So I am a true believer and like secondhand things. So I have my share of my first rock saw was from a garage sale. So and I still have it. So yeah, that's great.
nice.
Um
So what's new with you?
I am just going through like it's just been a crazy busy year. I feel like busy is just the new norm, but it's just like more busy for me. So I'm just waiting patiently for my house to get finished, which is still not done, and the kids to get out of school, just to get return of normalcy. I'm feeling physically better because I had had some neck issues, so I'm glad for that. I'm not in any pain, so physically my body is ready to get back out there. I just need life to slow down a little bit. So I don't have any trips planned. Um, I'm in the works of maybe my birthday's next month, so I'm thinking about heading out to maybe New York. I know my daughter, she's getting her temps. And so we have thinking about driving out to Utah this summer so she can get her driving time in. And so I might reach out to the miners girl to see if I can meet her out in Utah because I know that thank you. Did you just hear that I was just talking about you, the miners girl? I'm gonna reach out to you. The Hopefully this summer, my daughter wants to go out to Utah, and I know you love Utah, so be on the lookout for a message from me, Carolyn, because I'd love to prospect with her. So yeah, that's just kind of what's going on in my little world. So I'm hoping, and you've got a wedding coming up.
Yeah, I've got a wedding coming up. And then we just finished a whole bunch of stuff with the Mineral Club, and so like next month I'm actually going to a spot in Wisconsin to look for moonstone,
Oh yes.
which would be really exciting. So it's kind of like Labradorite.
Hmm.
So I'm excited about that. And then yeah, getting married and our honeymoon. We're going to be going to like Tennessee, so hoping to make a stop room and see some of Chase's stuff again. And then also my fiance is like, you get one day that you can do rock stuff, so we're going to try and go over to the Cherokee Ruby mine in North Carolina and check out Zeke's spot. So
Yes. Shout out
um
to Zeke. Yes.
Yeah. So, and if anyone's interested in more information about those, we had Chase Pipes on this season, and Zeke Holder was on season 2. So, be sure to check out those episodes if you're interested in either of those spots. I'll be sure to post some photos from both of those too.
Yes, it looks like Ron Brown. Hey, Ron, he's joined us. Ron has he's new in the mining world, not prospecting, but he visited his property in Georgia it was in March, and he's got crystals out there. So we'll have to look out to see what Ron's going to do with his property, with having people come out there and collect. So shout out to you, Ron. And was there anyone else who like commented? Let's see. I don't want to miss anyone. If you are tuning in, be sure to comment. Let us know you're watching. So we've got exciting guests tonight. Guests plural. I started following these guys last year. Was really impressed with their enthusiasm for collecting crystals and minerals. They are European prospectors. Mineralwereld is how you would say it, Dutch English. The other way, I'm not too familiar. I don't want to butcher it. So we'll have them, when we bring them on, we'll have them say. So we will bring out Mineralwereld. They are European prospectors, and they share a great enthusiasm for collecting crystals and minerals all over Europe. And when I say all over Europe, I mean all over Europe. So I'm really excited to learn from them. Ben and I have lots of questions on, just their traveling, what they collect, and, how they collect, all that good stuff. So let's welcome Mineralwereld.
Hello, good morning. Hi, Amber. Hi, Ben.
Hi. How are you, Daniel?
Yeah, doing fine. Thanks for the introduction. Over here, it's almost 2 a.m. in the morning, so
Yes, I forgot to mention that.
no worries, because
So
you're on,
our guests have they have stayed up very late for us. They are clear across the other side of the world. So we welcome you and thank you for sharing your time with us.
No
Welcome,
worries.
Kristian. How are you?
Yeah, thanks. I'm doing fine as well. Yeah, it's in the night, as we said, but I'm doing really fine. It's glad that we're here and get to know you and get to know everybody that loves crystal prospecting as we do. So
Yes.
yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yes. So tell us, Kristian and Daniel, tell us about your journey. What got you started into the hobby? Had you been doing this for several years? Is this something you picked up, later in your adult life, or did you start as kids? So just if you want to each share your journey and then maybe how you guys met, that would be great.
Well, you can start if you want, Daniel, because we have different stories, but nice stories, of course.
That's true. Yeah, I'll start. That's fine. So yeah, I've had interest in crystals and minerals ever since I was a little boy. I think when I was 6 or 7 years old, I would go with my parents to these fairs where you could actually buy crystals, which I found really nice. And I started just collecting them over the years. But I kind of lost interest in it when I got older. And I think when I was about 25 or 26, I found a box hiding in the attic again with all the crystals I used to collect when I was young, and I was just wondering what actually did I have. So I went online and joined some clubs just to actually check what it was, and I found out that it was actually possible to prospect for crystals myself as well, which I found really strange actually. And it turned out there was a stone quarry near my house. So I went there without any expectations, with a hammer and a chisel. And I think I was sold or hooked for life, as you would say in English. and have been doing that ever since. And well, you can see my display cabinets in the background,
Y-
which are all
Yeah,
self-collected anyway.
very
Um,
impressive.
Thank you. And these are just the nice parts. The rest is still in the attic though. So yeah, I've been doing that ever since. And I actually met Kristian in a quarry, and yeah, we kind of we had a good talk on what to collect, and we said to each other, well, let's do this again sometime. And yeah, that's then all things happened, and we became friends, and also started Mineralenwereld.
Yeah,
That's how you pronounce it.
mineral. Where? Oh, I'm not going to say it. But
Oh,
there
you
we
can
go.
try.
That's
You
how
can
you
try.
say it. No, I'll
Please
ruin it.
do.
It's
Please,
okay.
please try. Please try.
Okay. Okay. You say it one more time. Say it again.
Mineralenwereld.
Mineralwereld.
Excellent.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
Congrats.
All right, Kristian, tell us a bit about your story.
Yeah, as I said, it's a little bit different of what Dino had in his life. But I started, rock collecting when I was 8 years old. I was, of course, too young to get into quarries, but my parents took me to some camping, and we went there, and there was a quarry in the neighborhood. I didn't know what crystals were at all, but you could search for small crystals in the lake, and I was totally hooked on it right away at my eighth. And it started off there. In that area, also, it's in Germany. It's in near Ida Oberstein, in a area where are multiple quarries, and it's also famous for its geodes. In Europe, I don't go into detail at the moment yet, but in Europe there are so many different places where you can go rock hounding. But that area is specific for its geodes with amethyst or quartz and calcite in it. And yeah, that's why I stay there. And we came back every year. And every year I got older, of course. And there was a time I was old enough to go in the quarry. And as of that moment, it was totally going nuts for me. Every year, or maybe 5 times, 10 times a year, I got back there and went searching in the quarry. And yeah, it was the start of something bigger. And of course, Daniel, I got to know when I was older, but also it was in that quarry that he came for a day to go prospecting. I was there as well, and we had a chat. We had, we got to know each other a little bit. We didn't know what to expect from each other, but it grew slowly and slightly, and now we are years ahead, and we have a very good friendship. And yeah, we go to every crystal prospecting trip together if it's possible. And as you know, we go around Europe where we can, and we have the same passion and the same idea about it. That's what makes our bond so strong.
That's lovely. So you told us about your journey and how you met. And so then when you guys met and you started collecting together, tell us how that started from your friendship collecting together and that grew into what you have today.
Yeah, I think what Kristian said, because it was on such a specific place where we actually also stayed at the same campsite. So what we did after we went prospecting is that we came to each other on the campsite to clean the finds that we did, but also drink beers, have fun, listen to music. So we kind of found out really quickly that there was a good friendship match there. And then we decided, let's do this more often on different locations. And the location that Kristian mentioned is he was been digging there for quite a long time, whereas I was digging before that in a different place in Germany called Sauerland, which is a area with a lot of calcite, which was familiar for me, but not for him. So I said, well, let's go there because those are more or less my grounds, so to speak.
So it sounds like you were doing more like hard rock kind of mining, and he was doing more like kind of surface collecting, digging. And
same thing. It's
okay.
Actually the place where he was is, I think it's basalt.
Okay.
It's quite hard.
It's
and
okay.
Okay, I got you.
Or andesite, and the location I was is mostly limestone. So,
okay,
but both are it's actually digging into rock itself. Yeah.
Okay. And so you guys, when did you guys start Mineralwereld?
Yeah, good question. It's quite some time ago, but the idea was to make it in something educational. We were, of course, a longer period of time together with crystal prospecting and going into quarries, but we got so many positive responses. Hey, why don't you share, yeah, a rock you found or something where you go, or how do you search for minerals? And all those questions keep in mind. And I was also a teacher for a time, so I was working in a school, and I did some workshop with the children around 10 to 12 years old, and I showed them, hey, this is what I do. I have a hammer, I have a chisel, I'm going in a quarry, and I'll show you a movie what's going on. And I showed them a geode, a closed geode, and I opened it in the workshop, and the children were, wow.
Yeah.
So that moment for me, it's not only for Daniel, but for me was that I need to do more with it. It's it's a hobby, it's a passion that not many people know.
Yes.
Europe
Mhm,
or
mhm.
the Netherlands, because we don't have mountains, or we have only two, maybe one or two quarries in the whole Netherlands, nothing more.
We have
Oh,
one mountain officially
Yeah, an official
in the
mountain.
Netherlands. One,
It's,
one,
I
one.
don't know how high it is, but it's maybe 50 meters.
No, 321.
Okay.
oh,
But that's the only thing we have. We have a lot, and I mean really a lot, passionate people about crystals, but not a possibility to go searching for crystals.
okay.
And the Mineralwereld we started was really to expose our passion together in an educational way, in every way possible. Social media is one of the stronger things we do, YouTube especially, and yeah, also going on fairs and introducing people to our hobby and what to do to go crystal prospecting.
Very nice.
So I guess you kind of mentioned it there, but is, rock hounding in general, is that a popular thing in Europe, or is it not very popular at all?
It depends on the country. As Kristian said, in the Netherlands, we basically don't have any rock at all. Netherlands is, I think, 95% clay and mud. That's it, because it's so flat and near the ocean. So when you tell this to Dutch people that you do this, they're like, "What?
Where?
Where? How?" And there's
Exactly.
hard. Yeah, there are some places in the Netherlands where you can find agates, and these are mostly next to the rivers. But all those rocks come from the mountains and are deposited there by the rivers, because Netherlands is kind of a big delta. So when we go to other countries, then you see that it's much more popular. Like in Germany, that's used to be like a crystal prospect of Valhalla, where in that location that Kristian mentioned, there's a lot of amethyst in the ground, and I think until the 40s or 50s, it was actually mined there on a commercial level, which no longer is the case now. But if you go to the Alps, like Switzerland, Austria, France, Italy, those countries, then you've got whole families that do prospecting. So that's quite a
Yes.
difference. Yeah.
The Alps, yes. So
Yeah.
that's one place I want to go, up in the mountains.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
What
you're
do
welcome
they
to come
call
by.
them?
Yeah.
Is it like Crystalaire, or how do the ones that climb the mountains and go up there and collect in the French Alps?
Yeah.
I can't. There's this one prospector. He's like famous. He's
Yes.
like, I follow him and I can't even think of his name. But every time I see his post, I'm just like, "Oh, I want to do that." That's my ultimate prospecting goal, is to one day get up there.
Yeah.
For us too, let's say we also go into the Alps, but we don't go prospecting on the level those professionals do. And I mean it really positive, because those guys, they are dedicated and living their life to do this, and they
Yes.
are really trained to do it. We are hobbyists,
Yeah.
and we go a lot further than maybe other crystal prospectors, and we know what to do. But we can't go up 3 kilometers in the Alps. That's something our goal is as well.
Yeah. That's like lifetime goal for sure.
Yeah. Maybe you mean Christopher Perray. That's the French guy that's looking
Yes,
for.
yes, that's who I'm talking about. Him. Yes, I
He's,
follow him. He's in.
he's
He's
yeah, he's
like
very famous. Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Yep.
But with much respect also for those guys, they risk their life for doing that. And sometimes they do it for hobby. Sometimes they also sell it, and it's their life's income. And yeah, I really don't have an opinion about it. I think it's good. In that way, everybody has to do it their way.
Yeah.
And yeah, for us, if we can go that high and get to the Alps on that level and find the smoky quartz pocket or something,
Oh,
that would
that's
be
a dream.
an ultimate
That's a
dream.
dream.
It
But
will happen. It will happen one day,
we
Kristian.
also
It will
found
happen
some
one day.
nice pieces yet. So yeah.
So Ben and I were curious because you guys go to all these different countries, you know, and I understand that these countries can just be a matter of, you know, miles from each other versus in the US, you know, we've got 50 states and it can take
Yep.
us, you know, 28 hours to get to the other side of the
Yeah.
country. Tell us, you know, here we have states, different states have different laws, but they're rather, you know, minor differences between each state. Tell us with the countries, what are the collecting laws? Are they different in each country? And how do you just learn all of the different laws and give us some insight on that?
Yeah, indeed, it depends on the country. If you look at Switzerland, there you really have to buy a permit to do so, and per day or per week, and even depending on the location that you are in Switzerland, it's different. Some of the locations or the provinces, they even have it's even forbidden to do so.
Okay.
So you really have to inform with the local municipalities to check, is it even possible? And so what we usually do if we go to new places, that we first look at the local websites to see if there are such possibilities or not. Otherwise, we just don't go there. That's in Switzerland. If you look at countries like France and Germany, it's completely different. There are rules on a country level. But then you often see that the areas are privately owned. So these are quarries or forests or wooded areas or old mining areas, etc. And then it really depends on what do the local owners say.
Gotcha.
From our experience, we've noticed that once you ask it officially, then sending an email or calling, it's usually a no, because then they're responsible for anything that would happen to you. But if you are already there and then you would ask someone, hey, is it okay if we go digging for minerals? 9 out of 10 times that they'll answer, what minerals? What do you mean? They just don't understand. And if you show them what you can find on their land, they're like flabbergasted because they hardly even know. But yeah, even so, we get a lot of no's as well, and then it's just driving onwards to another location to check again. But yeah, always respecting people that own those lands to prospect there. And I think within the USA, it's
the same
thing.
Yep, it's the same. I was just going to say, as you're explaining that, it's pretty much what we do too.
Yeah, there's a lot changing in the last 20 years, as I say, for crystal prospectors, because if you see for safety rules, there's so much so much detail in that. But I believe, for example, the Ida Oberstein area in Germany, as I mentioned, where the geodes come from, or the amethyst geodes, they are famous for Europe geodes. It has been closed, not because the quarry is stopping, no, because they say, hey, it's too dangerous, you can't go in there anymore. Even if you have a helmet or some other gear, it's forbidden. We don't want to take that risk anymore. And of course, for us as a hobbyist, it's frustration. You know how many crystals will go into the factory and be broken and be in our houses and our streets. Yeah, and even that can't be helped at the moment. So I'm also very curious how the future will bring, what the future will bring us.
It's interesting hearing you say that, because that's exactly how a lot of us here in the States feel, when we're seeing these quarries, that are crushing rocks, for our roads and construction. And we know that there's incredible minerals and crystals there that, they're destroying. And, it would be really nice that if we could come together and figure out a plan where, I don't know, you feel like there's got to be something that could be done, and I guess ultimately, they own their property, they can do what they want, but it would surely
Yeah.
it would be such a benefit to the community if they would work with the community. I will say I live in an area in Ohio, Sylvania, Ohio. We have a uh, fossils here that people collect, all over the country, even the world. It's a famous location, and the quarries here, what they do is we have a place called Fossil Park right next to the quarry, and they take some of their dump and they place it there for us to sort through. So
Okay.
yeah, so that, it gives the community an opportunity to collect the fossils that they'd like to collect, that they know that they're just going to crush. There's no like crystals there, but there's like trilobites and brachiopods and things, really like I found a really nice museum quality one. So you can find really nice specimens there, but it was an attempt to work with the community, and also for people to learn from the area here, and the fossils and such. So I feel like there are some quarries that are willing to work with communities. I just feel like if maybe maybe it just requires more education and just communication with quarries. I don't know, but we definitely would like to see that change as well.
Yeah, you're totally right. What happens also here, in my opinion, it's also based on the people that working there, if it's allowed or not. An example, a positive example in Germany, there's also it's called in German Grube Clara. It's a mine, but they also take the crystals or the fluorite and barite veins from the mine uh, up to above ground and dump it there to people for
Yeah.
people to search for it. But it's also the whole village and the whole town and everybody is talking about it. But also that mine is very, very famous. Maybe the most famous, I'm not sure, but maybe the most famous in whole Europe for micromount crystals.
Ooh.
And it's more than 400 or 4,000 different pieces they found.
Yeah.
I'm not totally familiar with all the crystals there, but you have to look it up. But the whole community is positive about it and works to get it open. And it stays open, but it's also only that place. But there are tons of places that could do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I will say the one thing too that I've experienced like in Minnesota, like we've got like superior agates and you can find
Yeah.
some other things and it's all in the glacial gravel, but the companies will use that gravel and sort it and then use it for like landscaping, and some of the roads and different things. And so I have been able to do what we call urban rock hounding, where like I've gone to the post office and I've seen people at the McDonald's drive-through, and they've been finding agates in the rocks that are there. So that's one of the
Okay.
benefits I will say of some of the companies that if I guess that's kind of a thing. If there are rocks or crystals or minerals in an area, you might sort of look at other locations where they might have ended up. I don't know if that's something that happens in Europe or not.
Oh yeah, we have a quarry in Belgium that people used to go really often to find calcite crystals, and we visited quite often as well. Those rocks are used, I think, even for construction and also for the gravel below the railroads. So whenever we are somewhere in the Netherlands, you can recognize the stone there. It's like, oh, those are that's calcite or limestone from that quarry.
Yeah.
But what they did there is that the company itself offered the possibility for people to visit in the weekends to look for crystals that they would otherwise break. But it would take them a lot of time to manage that. So they actually wanted to quit doing that. And then a local mineral club said, well, we can take on that whole administration and the safety. So now the company just works there during the week, and you can contact that mineral club instead of them to go there in the weekends. And it's just awesome because Everyone can visit it. There's a lot of Dutch people going there, French people going there, and it's like, yeah, the a whole community has built up there for people that have interest in crystals, which is really nice to see because otherwise we wouldn't have that location anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, hold
The
on. I was going to say, hold on 1 second, Ben, before you move on. I just want to
okay.
shout out to a few people that came in. Shout out to Scott. Thanks for joining. Suze and Rockhounds LLC. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I was so kind of on that note too. I know you sent some pictures, so why don't we go through some of these pictures, and if you can just kind of say where it is and what you're doing, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course. It's a famous area for us. Well, this is one of our crystal prospecting trips to one of our favorite places, the Alps, the Swiss Alps. So when you want to visit Europe, please come by. We'll go to the Alps. But this area is famous for its rock crystal or smoky quartz. In this case, rock crystal and needle quartz. You see Daniel here sitting here. We went there 10 years ago, and we found a different pockets. It's a whole story, but we found a pocket about the size of 1 meter, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was even bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be bigger. Yeah.
But it took us 6 years to empty the pocket.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But you see here the area. Yeah, you see one crystal find here. It's just fresh out of the pocket, so it's full of clay. But in this particular pocket, Daniel can tell the details. Of course, we call it the ant's nest.
Yeah.
That's beneath it, because we were searching there for 3-4 years in a row. You can claim in Switzerland a pocket if you find it for a year and a day officially. So it's also it's also kept for you. Of course, you have thieves among the crystal prospectors, but it didn't happen to us. We claimed the pocket and we got back and found the crystals, and this is one of the finds that came out.
What I found interesting about this location is that it was actually already known for a lot of years, at least the area. And then this was the first time Kristian and I went to the Alps ourselves. So it was completely new. We were kind of rookies to this area, finally going up the high mountains. To this area where people said, nah, you shouldn't go there because it's a lot of people search there and you won't find any nice things, just small crystals. And I think on the third day when we were working on this quartz vein, there was this small bulge in the vein, and we hit it, and then the chisel just blasted off into the mountain, and we could hear it. We could hear the sound like 2 meters into the mountain. We're like, okay, this is a jackpot.
Oh wow!
But we had to go back because it got dark, and then I think we didn't sleep all night, just thinking what can come out of that pocket. And next day we went up again. And we turned around the first one, and it was huge. And as Kristian said, we came back 3-4 years in a row just to empty it. Yeah.
So question. So you said it took like a total of 6 years to empty that pocket. So here in the US, most out west mostly, and some like in New York, but people can have claims. Do you guys have did you have a claim on this area? Could you guys have the same out there in Europe? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, only in Switzerland.
Okay.
Other countries don't have this, so you can try. But if other people find your pocket, then it will be empty the next time you'll get back. But in Switzerland, it's done by law because it's one of the few countries in Europe where prospecting is. Yeah, people do this for as a living. So what happens there if you have such a claim and you put your equipment there? So you have to put like 2 or 3 chisels and your initials and everything. There's no way you can register, so you still have a chance that people will rob it, unfortunately. But the Swiss people have some sort of mutual respect to one another that they just don't do it. I think the second or third year we came back to our place, we could see that someone removed the cover stones just to check what's inside. But even my equipment was still there after
that's
after a
awesome.
year. And
Wow.
Yeah, I think that if you actually get caught there stealing someone else's pocket, then you're not welcome anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
So
fines
It's a
will be
good
higher.
thing. Yeah.
So one question with that too that I was thinking of. So in the U.S., obviously, if it's like a private quarry or something, you can use whatever equipment you want. But if you go to like say like a national like there's like certain national like forests or areas that they don't allow any power tools. Are there any requirements like that where you can't use like any power tools? It has to be all hand tools.
Yeah, I have to say that's a good question, Ben, because exactly that, and specifically also Switzerland, it's the only country that has really legislation about it. So you have a list in which area you can search for crystals and what you can use. You have 3 categories, I believe 3 or 4, but hand tools, you have drilling tools, but you can also blast it away with dynamite. But then you have to have all the registers for that. But exactly that is possible. I'm not sure if you have if you can do it in every area, but you can search it on the internet and you can buy your permit to go there, and then you exactly know what you can do or what you can't do in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know the miners girl mentioned people claim jump, and she actually caught someone on their claim. I had something similar happen just last month when I was in Arkansas for the total eclipse. We were digging in a mine, and we all stopped for a half hour to watch the eclipse. And I put my tools in the hole I was working on, and we all went up. And when we were done, I came back, and someone was in my hole working on what I had spent the whole day working on, and
How
I
rude.
yeah
That's
Oh,
so
that's
rude.
really rude. Yeah.
I asked them to leave, and they said really, and I said yes, I have been here all day. And then they went to somebody else's hole, and then we finally scared them off, and they left. But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
those
Yeah,
Yeah.
those people are everywhere.
I have to say,
that's what happens in Europe as well. If you're in another country than Switzerland, then you get claim jumps all over the place because you're actually not allowed to claim anything.
Hmm.
Oh,
I have to say, Ben, what also is the matter, what really makes the difference is when you are a crystal prospector or you are just a regular tourist. A
yeah.
regular tourist comes also in quarries or in places like the Alps, and they are looking and they say, "Hey, I find a crystal here. It's interesting. I don't know what's there. I'm going to see." They really don't understand all
Yes.
the rules that are there. I respect that as well. Um, but yeah, other claim jumpers, I can't say we ever had that. There are also movements of the quarry of the rock, as Daniel said, but nothing that got stolen. So maybe we are lucky here.
Yeah.
Yes. Are these also quartz then from that same pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Both from the ant's nest. I think the left one. Yeah, one of the first ones we found. This is
It's the
we
flagship.
yeah the carrier. It's
Oh yeah,
it
exactly.
kind of looks like an aircraft carrier. If you hold it out flat, it was one of the bigger finds. And I think what was quite nice about this pocket is that we found so many pieces, and then you always have to split up the finds and who takes what piece. Is that with the two
Yeah.
of us?
That's odd. I was going to ask. That's going to be hard.
Well, actually, it's not.
Okay.
We found out. Well, at least with the two of us, we found out that because our friendship is so strong, it goes pretty natural. Like, oh, you want to take this piece? Yeah, I'll take that one, because we know it will end up in either one of our display cabinets anyway. So if we visit each other, you can have a look at it.
I love
Um,
that.
Sometimes there is some regret. I can point out some pieces that Kristian always says, we should have gotten more of those pieces. I've got one big calcite here in the room where
Yeah.
we actually there were 3 of them when we found them, but the weather got bad, so we didn't go back. We only took one, which is in my house.
Yeah, but that's
I still have to hear that on a daily basis.
that's a story of itself. Yeah, that moment we found it's not a lie, but we found the crystal calcite crystal pocket undamaged. It collapsed because of the blasting, but the roof came down but didn't touch the other crystal, so it was open. and we found it. We couldn't carry the piece. We also have it on video on YouTube. I have to say, but it was more than 2 meters. I lay down in that pocket.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that big piece, so the roof piece, about a meter, 120.
No,
in
just
Daniel's-
under. I'm just looking at it. It's about
Yeah.
under a meter, I think. Yeah.
It's in his house, and I totally agree with that. But we, because of the rain, the bad weather was there. We let 2 big pieces, a little bit smaller, but also 80 centimeters or something. We let it behind in the quarry. We didn't go back, and that was the regret of many to come, because we didn't find it later, and we
And
only got 1 big piece from that pocket, and luckily Daniel has it in his house.
And for any of the Americans watching too, 1 meter is about 3 feet. So a 2 meter pocket that's
All
like
right,
6 feet. So it's a huge pocket.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, that was also a dream come true, of course.
And so where are these? The photo on the left, is that from the same pocket?
Yes, this is all still from the Ants Nest pocket in Switzerland, and you can see a bit with the rock and the in the background is that I think the slope is about 45% or so that we have to climb first. It's not really high because you can see the grass in the background as well, but all the pieces that we found and the rocks that we get out, we carefully have to put aside because otherwise they roll down the hill, and there's some towns there as well. You don't want any houses to get hit by falling rocks.
Yeah, I think this says it all. It's one of many pictures we took, but I guess we have found about 200 to 300 pieces like this. It's not
Wow.
a hand piece, but it's about 5 to 10 centimeters, but all needle quartz and all undamaged. Now they look a little bit veil, but after cleaning, they are glass clear.
So this is I was just going to say, this is a lesson of when like someone says, "Oh, there's nothing there," to go if you go ahead and still look, because just because they didn't find it doesn't mean that you can't. So, because imagine is this the same place in Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
This pocket. Yeah. So imagine if you would have taken that advice and never have gone there.
We wouldn't have found it, And even so, when we were looking at that whole vein, because it was, I think the vein itself was about 10 or 11, 12 meters or so. So that's 30 feet. After we came back, it continued to give more pockets. If you want, I'm not sure whether that's making it a bit more interactive. I could grab one of the pieces and show it.
Oh,
yes, absolutely.
You guys continue. I'll grab one.
Okay.
There's another chapter. Of course, that's another story, but it's one of the best journeys of our life the last 2 years.
Yes,
these are calcite.
Sorry, Dan, what did you say?
Is it calcite?
Yeah. Well, this is calcite. Yeah, this is a story in itself, but we'll do that after Daniel will show the rock parts from the pocket.
You're on mute, Daniel.
Here we go. So this is the battleship piece.
Oh wow!
See if it focuses a little bit.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Wow,
and you can see the tower right here. So this is the command center of the carrier.
Yeah.
And so do you have like just backpacks that you take with you into the mountains to carry this stuff out, or what do you do to protect the crystals?
It depends on where you are. At this specific moment, we had lightweight backpacks with only a small hammer and a chisel, and we take old paper to pack it. But I have to say, because it was needle quartz, we found it and we were like, oh, how are we going to take this home?
Right.
Because we had to go down the mountain. So we took the bigger pieces in our hands like this, and we took it home like this. It took us not very long, but it was undamaged when we got home.
I remember that we because we had to carry the crystals and we still had the mining equipment, that we had to throw down all the chisels and everything and just go towards it and then throw it again. and continue doing that until we're down the mountain.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah,
So
cool.
what are these photos then? This is calcite?
Yeah, this was last year.
Yeah.
We had a surprise day in a positive way. We had an invitation from the Belgian television, one of the biggest channels that there were. They reached out to us and they said,
Cool.
"Hey, we want to make a small video about the hobby." It was a non-spoken piece, so it was like, it was a story to be told with images and, of course, moving images. But they came with us to that quarry. This is in Belgium, and this quarry is very famous for its quality calcites. So it's not rare, it's not seldom, but you find always calcite there. But it's about the quality and not only the size, but the clarity of the crystal or undamaged. And we went there, and they filmed us during our hobby. And we were searching that day randomly somewhere, and there opened a small pocket, or there was some kind of vug or vein in the wall, and we went to see if there were crystals in there. And there was a small crystal in there, not those two you see now in the picture, but you see that they are videotaping us. Then we found a small crystal about 4 centimeters, Daniel.
Yeah, it wasn't for that location. It was regular size.
Yeah, and they filmed it that we found it. After they taped everything they wanted to tape, they went away, and Daniel and I said, "Hey, let's take another look at the quarry because the vein was too interesting not to leave it like that."
Yes, I think we've got some footage. I think we've got some footage of that.
Yeah, I believe so. Maybe it's good to see that because then you see what happened there.
Yeah, let me see. I'm not sure if this is the video. Tell me if it's not.
Okay.
Zo, onze pocket is nog lang niet leeg. En nou, dit is echt gekkenhuis.
Ja, zeker.
We hebben wel een beetje gesteggeld, want we hebben net al staan dansen met z'n tweeën omdat we dit vonden.
Precies.
En daardoor totaal vergeten om te filmen.
Ja.
Maar we willen dit echt met jullie delen, want dit slaat nergens op. Je hebt tot nu toe al hele grote kristallen gezien, maar dit...
Dat formaat hebben we dus net gehad.
Ja.
En topkwaliteit.
Ja, maar wat nu eruit komt...
Ja, echt topkwaliteit. Maar echt...
Nog groter. Echt absurd.
Nou, dit is de achterkant.
Dit is de achterkant. Je ziet hem ervoor me al. Oh jongens, kijk dan. Let op.
Oh.
Holy shit, hé. Wat is dit? Niet normaal, wat een ding. Oh, deze weegt echt wel een paar kilo gewoon.
Mooi man.
Super groot.
Het is gewoon zo gekristalliseerd rondom. Hè? Je ziet hier gewoon echt zo...
We hebben echt serieus, we vinden grote kristallen, maar dit hebben we nog niet eerder meegemaakt.
Nee,
Dit is echt absurd. Als je dit kan vinden, kijk dan wat een huge ding. Ja, en wat ik al zei, we hebben net al staan dansen, maar we moeten dit echt even met jullie delen, want dit is echt bizar. Echt bizar.
Maar dit is waarom dat wij het doen, maat.
Zeker. Vet man.
Top man.
Wat een ding. Nice.
I love it.
Yeah, you can see our enthusiasm.
I wanted to say that as well. We when we found these big pieces, we sent a message to the film crew of that Belgian TV station and said, "You guys have to come back because the pocket that you just filmed, there were big crystals in there." We're like, no, why didn't we stay? It's quite funny to see because we got the recording of the video that they made, and you could actually see us working in here and getting those small crystals out, totally unaware that the big ones were still in there as well.
Wow, that's incredible.
And I don't know if this is another video too from that same.
En hij loopt. Nou maatje.
Ja.
Blijf maar feest hier. Ja, jullie hebben net al wat gezien hè, maar dit is nog ook weer een mooi stuk.
Ik heb nu, het is niet zo'n groot kristal als de vorige, alleen deze zit heel mooi tussen twee matrixstukken in. En kijk, je ziet hier, moet je kijken, heel mooi. Zie je dat? Er zit heel veel modder op hoor. Het zijn allemaal kristallen, kleintjes, hier zit een grote. Maar dit is de achterkant, daarop. Kijk eens even.
Tadaa!
That's pretty. Look at that.
Helaas hier aan de achterkant is die kapot. Dat was plafond.
Dat was inderdaad
Hij
plafond.
hing zeg maar zo aan het plafond.
That's a gorgeous cluster.
Vet!
Ja zeker, maar ook die kleur.
Ja, heel mooi. En hij
Goede
is mooi
kwaliteit.
helder ook, ja.
Wauw.
Ik denk dat je deze, deze moet je eigenlijk zo in de vitrine
Ja, hou
neerleggen.
zo maar even vast, ja. Ziet er echt heel top uit. Kijk, want als je goed kijkt, daar zit ook een heel mooi groot kristal nog achter.
Kijken. Zie je dat?
En dan hier, die.
Ja.
Zo, een centimeter op. Hoeveel? 10?
Deze? 10, ja. Want hij
10,
loopt,
hè?
hier zit, kijk, hier, dit is het einde. Dit
Ja.
puntje en dan loopt het zo hier tot en daar. Dus het is, nou ja, dit. Ik heb hem nu tussen mijn vingers. Zie je, dit is het formaat.
Ja.
Wat een ding, hé.
Vet. Wat hebben wij toch een geluk en een plezier.
Oh, wat een gat is dit.
Is echt niet te filmen.
Het gaat maar door.
Ja, is
We zijn nog
ongelooflijk.
niet eens aan het einde, dus gaan we eens even kijken wat er nog meer in zit.
Ja.
Nice.
It's making us happy every time again. It's a experience.
We had some people from Belgium that visit this quarry on a weekly basis, and we displayed these pieces on a international mineral fair in The Hague. I think 6 months after we found them, because we kind of kept it a bit low just to excavate that pocket a bit more. And there were Belgian people at that fair as well, and they looked at the pieces and they were like, "No, these are looking at the quality and the size. These do not come from that quarry. These are from, I think there's in the US, there's a place where you can find such calcites as well. Is that Oregon, I think?
Yeah, Sweetwater mine, like the old finds from the Sweetwater mine.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah, you got
Okay.
the big orange.
Elmwood, that is.
Elmwood.
Elmwood,
Yeah, I was going to say
Tennessee.
Elmwood, Tennessee. Yeah.
Sorry, that's the one. Yeah. And they just couldn't believe that it came from this quarry that they visited on a weekly basis. They're like, no, these are the US crystals. It's impossible that you found them this big.
Wow. And are those fluorescent too?
Yeah, partially. Yeah.
Partially,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. There's some phantoms in there, and the phantoms are fluorescent. Yeah.
Ooh, phantoms, fluorescent phantoms.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
And
Yeah,
this is all still the same.
It's all the same. Yeah, you can see me laying down in the pocket.
Yeah, right there in the middle.
Yeah. I have to say we found it. That's also a great story, but we found it last year in April, so it's a year ago. But we kept it low, as Daniel said, for more than half a year, maybe 3/4 of a year, because this specific quarry area wasn't detonated. So the pocket was still there.
Oh.
And in total, we went 4 times, 5 times in this pocket. But it took us 2 months in between to go there. It's not possible to go there every week for us, but if it could be, we would have done that. But yeah, every week there came, or every time there came out a nice piece. And yeah, it kept on being deeper and deeper. And unfortunately, now we can say it, but a month ago we were there. And they finally detonated that place. So this pocket is gone forever. It was there for a year. We took out everything we could take out. But mostly in Portland, that's what I always say, it's about the adventure. It's not to find this only. It's about what we share in our passion.
I'm gonna grab another piece of this pocket as well.
Yeah.
That's
why we wanted to show this to the world, because it's more than only taking out crystals from a pocket or taking something from the earth and don't respect it, or have a love or have fun about it or enjoying it, whatever. But respect what you can do with this hobby. That's our main thought.
So one of the pieces that I don't think was on the video, we actually gave them different names. So the first one that Kristian pulled out was the King of the Castle, because the pocket was kind of a triangle, and this crystal was all the way in the top, at the very point of it, like the tip of the pyramid. The second one that I found was the Eye of Sauron, because it looked like the tower with the eye in the middle. And another piece that we found were actually 2 pieces. So the one that you just showed, Ben, on the picture, it was connected to another piece where there were 3 crystals. I think there was a picture there as well. So it was called 3 of a kind, where Kristian has one part and I have the other one. And it's this big.
Oh my God, look at that. Oh, what an incredible.
So you can see here it starts here with my finger and goes all the way up.
That's insane. That is insane. And look how gorgeous it is.
You
Wow.
can see the phantoms as well.
Yeah, I can actually see them.
Yeah.
That it's that big and that clear. Yes. Wow.
So was there anything that you saw? Because you said you were pulling out small crystals. Was there something that you saw that told you like that we need to go back and look at this again?
Yeah. Also determination, not only seeing it, but determination, because we always say to each other, this can't be it. If you have a pocket,
Yes.
it's done, of course, sometimes, but there are little clues. There was a little bit of clay coming down in the quarry, so when we laid in the quarry, there came some rubbish down, and then you know, hey, there's a cavity somewhere, and then you go digging. Yeah, it's not always that there will be more, but in this case it was, and it kept on giving. Yeah,
That's nice.
I'll also take the time to take the king of the castle then.
Good point. Good point.
Is this that same quarry then?
Yeah. So actually, the rock that you see, it's kind of like a corner on the right side, where you see the shadow. That's where the pocket was. So
wow.
it's actually 5 or 6 meters next to the main road where all the dump trucks drive.
Oh, they were just driving
And-
by it every day.
Yeah, and we were quite surprised actually that in the weeks that we didn't go there, that there weren't any other people that found the big crystals. Because when we got back, we found another one, and then 2 weeks later, we found another one. We did meet up with someone a couple of weeks ago that showed us a picture and said, I think this is from that same pocket, because it looked the same. And he remembered that he saw a big hole, and he laid in and also found a big one. It was a bit damaged though, but we figured it was the same pocket, which of course was very nice for him as well to get the crystal out, because there were plenty of crystals in there anyway.
Yeah. Well, the first find we did there in the video was this one. I'll show the side of it. This was that back wall, but you can see the point as well.
Wow.
Oh my Lord.
But as you can see,
Oh my God.
it's
That
a big
is
one, right?
Yeah.
With also phantoms in it.
Oh, absolutely stunning.
Unfortunately, my quality of video isn't that good, but as you can see, it's clear. The clarity is good.
Is that limestone then that is in the mine or the
Yeah.
quarry?
Yeah,
Okay.
a totally limestone quarry. Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the growth there is that you have really big slabs of really tiny crystals up to a couple of millimeters, and they form in we call it the Mercedes star shape. And then when you have such slabs that can they can grow up a couple of feet, and then these big crystals, they just pop up there out of the blue. So you have these large slabs with small crystals, and then one huge crystal which is decided to grow to humongous size. And that happens to all the pieces there. So even if you find crystals from a couple of centimeters, they're always on top of a big slab with really small ones. So it's like there's like one big dad on on the slab that decides to be the
Yeah.
biggest of them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are these the two places we've talked about already then?
Yeah.
So here
Okay.
on the left picture, you can see the ants nest pocket in Switzerland, and those veins, those quartz veins, are really clear. And the hole that I'm working in right now was the main pocket where that big battleship came out and all the other pieces, because this pocket went into the mountain for about 6 feet, so we couldn't reach the end because it was such hard rock. It's granite as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this is the last photo I've got. So this must be the quarry where you pulled the calcite from.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same day, or maybe a couple of weeks afterwards. It was a good area where you can find the crystals. As you can see, there are multiple crystal prospectors, but yeah, it keeps on giving, this quarry. But also going back to the start of our conversation, this possibility to go search for crystals there, the allowance from the quarry and the possibility, that's what the most that's the most valuable you have there.
Yeah.
That you can enter, can find crystals, can go there, because it's one of last quarries that's legal to go in. Yeah.
There's actually a lot of people that ask us, how do we start with prospecting? How does that work? We want to do that as well. So you got a lot of young people sending us messages or asking on YouTube, hey, we want to do this as well. We've got all the material, all the equipment, but where do we go?
Right.
And then we often tell them, well, this quarry is quite nearby because it's in Belgium. It's a couple of hours drive. You will always find some crystals there. So have a look, and please send us some pictures if you found something. And
Yeah.
we sometimes get the nicest pictures and stories back, and people saying, this is such a nice place, and thanks for this. I'm going to start this as a real hobby as well. And then they continue to other countries.
What's the longest distance you've traveled to prospect in Europe?
I think Spain.
Spain, I believe, yeah.
How many hours is that for you?
14.
Okay,
14,
wow.
16 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
For us, it's the other side of Europe, from the Netherlands to Spain.
Have you gone to their famous pyrite mine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also go to Navaun with
That's on my bucket list too.
I'll grab one.
Yes.
Yeah. We have different finds there. We went there also 10 years ago, and we found so many. Yeah, we couldn't take them home anymore. It was.
I know it looks like there is a lot there, and I couldn't even imagine just getting there and just.
A short introduction. Then it's a small quarry. It's really maybe 50 square feet, but it's only one wall with only crystals, and it's full millions of crystals.
Wow.
Do you have it there, Daniel?
Is that open to the public?
I don't know at the moment.
Okay.
Wow.
Look at that.
Exactly.
This is one of the pieces that we have on video as well.
Yeah.
It's not focusing real.
I love that. I have a few pieces, but they're not that big. And I didn't collect them myself.
I've got one on Matrix.
I understand. But it was open after. Yeah.
I love it. Wow.
It was open to the public, but at the moment I'm not sure it is. I hear it's not, but we didn't go there anymore after that.
That was a while ago when you went, right?
Yeah. We love to go back, but we are not sure if it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been hearing some mixed stories. Some people say it's no longer accessible because there's a new company that are now the owners. But then you hear other stories where people say, no, you can ask them, you can go in. So again, the same thing we mentioned earlier with Switzerland is that people saying don't go there.
Right.
We have the same with Navaun. You have to experience it yourself. And if not, then there's plenty of other places that you can search as well.
Yeah.
So we have a question here from Suze, and I was kind of wondering this too. She's asking if you've ever gone to Australia to mine opals or amethyst. Have you gone to places then outside of Europe to do any rock hounding?
Not solely for rock hounding. I went, of course, outside Europe, but it was in Oman. It was, totally not for crystals. I went crystal prospecting there, but it was one day. But not to Australia. It's a dream for us as well. Not only because we see the documentary now at Discovery Channel, but we see so many cool crystals coming out of there. For example, my all-time favorite, as I was a child, at 8 years old, is cocoite. It's imaginably nice and red, but it's only found that quality in Australia or Tasmania in this case. But that would be a dream. Yeah, I didn't go there, Daniel, as well, but it's a dream. Let's make it happen.
The one question that I came across, so I was doing some more looking at some of your videos in Instagram, and I came across, I think it might have been some fluorite that you had found, and you had cleaned it, and you had mentioned that you use dithionite solution.
Yeah.
Could you explain what that is and maybe some of the other cleaning that you do?
Oh yeah, I think for you it's known as super iron out.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
It's the exact same thing, but we cannot buy super iron out here in Europe because it's an American product. So I think we can import it, but it's too expensive. So what we actually do is we know the chemicals that are inside, and we mix it ourselves,
oh,
of course,
cool.
with all the precaution. And the active ingredient is sodium dithionite, which it reacts with the iron inside of substances such as crystals. So if you have a lot of crystals or minerals such as fluorides and especially quartz that have rust on it, which is lemonite, which is iron, then you can use that and to get those stains out, and it really works perfectly. Not on everything. If you use it on calcite, then the whole matrix becomes
Yeah.
a white as well.
Whitish, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
it's not that bad. But for fluoride, it works perfectly, especially when you, if you got purple fluorides, the color will stay, and you lose the limonite stains, and then the host rock itself, the matrix, usually is limestone and turns white. So you got this really nice contrast of
Yeah.
purple on white as well, and that's really cool. Yeah, we have there's three different chemicals that are used. So it's ditonite is one, the other one is baking soda,
yeah,
and the third one I can't remember. I don't know the English word for
trisodium
it.
nitrate, I believe.
Yeah,
Trisodium.
sodium nitrate. That's the one. Those keep the pH of the liquid neutral. And it works perfectly. So you just put it in a box of that solution. We call it the Waller solution because it was invented by a guy named Waller, I think.
I believe.
That's at least that's the story. That's how everyone knows it. And we just put it in the backyard because then you're outside because of the fumes. You put it in, and then it cleans up within 24 hours. Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, that's great. I did see Suze again mention vinegar and water that she uses for Herkimer diamonds. Amber might be interested. I was looking through. You found like double terminated clear quartz. I couldn't remember where it's from, but you found like Herkimer diamonds somewhere in Europe. Where was that?
Yeah, there's a couple of places actually, and yeah, in the US they're called Herkimer diamonds because of the location. In Europe they're called Schaumburger diamonds because there is a German location called Schaumburg. That's the area. Unfortunately, it's highly forbidden to search there. It's it's a nature reserve, so you're not allowed to dig. But you do see that people have some collections from the old days when it was not protected yet. And there's also a known location in the northern part of Italy. But unfortunately, I cannot share that location with you.
That's okay.
No, it's quite of a difficult place to be because it's literally in people's backyards, and they just want to protect that area that people don't plow over the forest there. But the local people know it, and it's quite nice to find them there. I think, I've been there once, Kristian. I don't think you've visited
I didn't
the
visit
area.
Italy.
No. But the funny thing there is if you compare it with how Herkimers are found, where there's really a lot of material that has to be removed. They use the big machines as well. But in these areas, they actually they're part of a mountain that got eroded. So you can literally pick them up from the mud. It's ridiculous. You just go there with a bucket and a shovel, and you just pick them up in the forest, or you dig a hole in the mud.
That's nice.
You get the same quality.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I guess just to put this out there too, because I know we haven't mentioned it too much, but if people want to follow you for more pictures and stories and things, it's the Mineralwereld, Mineralwereld on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Is that right?
Yeah, and we even also have a website with all the information because we write articles. We give also workshops, but also if you want to have localities to go for, or places you want to go search for crystals, we have also a database on our website. Also a community, everything that's possible to get to know other people that go on rock hunting, but also where to go to. Is it a possibility to go there? Is it an old mine or a new one? And people share their stories there. And yeah, that's what we do on our website, mineralenwereld.nl. .nl.
.nl, yeah. Yeah, so what you see is that once people use the website or the platform to prepare themselves for the hobby, to get the location and to go there, we sometimes get a question saying, oh, can we find crystals there? But quite often we haven't visited those locations either. And then we ask those people, please share on the community how you
Yeah.
experience that location. And you see people posting pictures and telling other people that, oh yeah, I went there last week. It was really nice. Or I tried to access it, but I was sent away by the local owner, just to keep that status updated. And I think it's really useful because for us, it's just a hobby. So we don't have the time to visit all those locations to get it updated. We basically ask the people using the community to do so.
Which, in doing that sense of community, you've created the largest Dutch prospecting group doing this, correct?
Yeah, it went really fast, actually. I think we started Mineralenwereld about 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
And
something like that.
yeah, and as Kristian mentioned during the intro, it was basically because people kept asking that same question: how do we start prospecting? How can we do what you guys do? We really like your photos and your YouTube videos, which you already had. So then we decided, okay, let's expand this community a bit and put it all online so that people can basically do a self-service on prospecting.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and also in the Netherlands, you have different groups that also are familiar with crystal prospecting, but they come together, but they don't have a website. It's much more non-digital, and what was missing or lacking was digital material and also motivation to go prospecting. If you see what we post on Instagram or YouTube, it's not only what you can find, but it's also the story. Yeah, you have to prepare. You have to see where to go to. Everything that beholds the crystal prospecting. But you can't find it anywhere, in my opinion, like we do on the internet in the Netherlands. So that was also the motivation to do it like this.
Yeah, that's great. It's always, great to have a resource that people can go to, sort of a central resource like that. Because I'll get that all the time too, of people asking, where do I go? And when you say, well, you can look at this website for this, or go to this Facebook group for this, or there's always just a bunch of different places to look, because I've been on Reddit and Facebook, and you go to like Mindat or some of like the fossil forum or some of those, and everything's just so spread out. So it's always really nice to hear when there's like a sort of a central spot that people can come and share, and just be a community, because that's really what this is all about.
Yes.
And that's exactly the same thought we had as well, Ben. It was so spread out, even within Europe. You would have we would use Mindat, but we found out that the locations there are quite focused or updated for the US and not so much for Europe. There's a German website as well that has a lot of locations, but again, it focuses on Germany. And we kind of thought, well, why can't we bring all those things together? Because there's Facebook groups, and Kristian said also there's non-digital communities as well. Why don't we have this yet? And yeah, both Kristian and I kind of have a social media background as well. So we figured, well, let's combine everything that exists and make it in a really easy 4-step plan. So first step is, where do I go? Second is, what do I need? Third one is, when I'm there, then what? And the fourth one is how to share your adventure. So with those 4 questions, we build up the locations, we build up the blogs, we build up the YouTube videos, and we build up the community forum. And I think it works.
That's awesome. And you guys do this full time, or is this in addition to your other jobs?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
It's still,
exactly.
still hobby.
I
Everything is
think that's so special. You know, Ben and I, we do the show, you know, because we love the community. You know, this is, you know, we have our full time jobs that we do, and so
Yeah.
I mean, those people who can do this for a living, I mean, that's a dream, right? But I think, you know, for those of us who, you know, this is just something that we like to share and to see grow and build a community. I think that's incredibly special. So kudos to you guys for doing that.
thank you.
Thank you, but also to you, because this is the way to get to know everybody around the world.
Oh, I love this,
yeah,
man. I was
there's
just
so
sitting
much
here,
more.
yeah, listening to you guys, just some of the things that you're saying. I'm like, I can relate to that. I get it. Like, yeah, that's exactly what I experience. And it's just crazy, you know, all on the other side of the world, you know, you have similar situations, and it's cool that, you know, we're all experiencing different things and we have that same passion.
Exactly. Cool.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't see any more questions. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you guys would like to talk about before we close this out?
Good one. Well, no, the most valuable thing for me is to share our story, of course, but also to mention if you want to get to know prospecting, don't focus on only I have to find a crystal. I hear that 1 million times. Oh, I'm going to search for crystals. I have to find something. No, it's a passion. It's a hobby. Respect that
Yep.
you are going on an adventure. Share it with your friends. Share it online. Share it like we do at this moment with you. But enjoy the moments. And maybe it's a silly note, but it's something we often say. Also on mineral fairs, so many people want to start, but they don't keep in mind it's more than only taking that crystal out of that pocket or out of that geode. No, it's the whole adventure. So enjoy it. That's my message.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. I fully agree. We've had moments ourselves when we were in Switzerland where there are days that you do not find anything and you're just wandering there, without seeing any crystals or whatever. And you just want to go back home, and then you turn around and you look at the view and you look at the environment, and then you share friendship and adventures together, and that immediately gives you energy to continue again, and then hopefully find some nice things. But even so, if you don't find anything, then we've had that as well, where we
Yeah.
went on holiday for 5 or 6, 7 days, and bad weather, snow, we couldn't do anything, but it was still a really nice holiday. And regardless of not having found any crystals, the adventure and the story and the experiences might even be more important.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. As someone that recently, few months ago, I remember I was in Nevada and California and went to try to find some amethyst, and I didn't end up finding any, but you know, that experience of getting to new places and exploring new things. And you know, it gets to me sometimes when people on Facebook will ask, you know, where do I go? And
Yeah.
it's like, well, figure it out yourself. Like, you know, we can help you some of the way, but like, there are people that have put hours and days into searching and trying to find places that if you were to just send them a GPS coordinate of wherever they are, all of that effort is just to waste. So
Yeah.
people need to, you know, really enjoy the whole prospect, you know, the whole process. Cause like I mentioned on one of our previous episodes, I was trying to find carnelian agates in New Jersey, and I did hours and hours of research. I tried to find the public areas. I tried to figure out, you know, the rules, where I should go, where I can park, all of that. And then to go out there and it's, you know, 90 degrees Fahrenheit and it's mosquitoes and I'm just, it's a miserable day. But then I find it and it's like everything that I've worked up to got me to that point. And that feeling of accomplishment would have not
Yes.
been there if
Mm-hmm.
someone said, go to this creek and in this area and you'll find it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I
100%
can
agree.
fully relate. Yeah.
Yeah.
We often get those questions as well, and not to be negative, but then people somehow expect that you take them by hand and show them,
Yes.
look, this is the
Yeah.
exact location where you can just grab a crystal and take it home. But unfortunately, that's not how the hobby works. but also not how the world works, is that you need to take effort and do your
Yeah.
whole preparation the same thing as that we all do here. You have to know the location and experience also the downside, like the mosquitoes and the cold or the heat. To get to where you want to be, and it's not easy. And what I do find is that for people that really want to start this hobby, it can also be kind of a threshold that they don't want to that they're not able to pass. So I always say keep on pushing, and don't don't say I'm not going to do this anymore if you don't find anything.
Yeah, it's a hobby that you have to love, I mean,
Yeah.
because it can be a lot of physical work. So, if
sure.
you if you're coming into this, if you want, there's all different types of collecting too, surface collecting, hard rock
Yeah.
mining. And so in the hobby, there's a little bit of everything depending on your abilities, physical abilities, or how much effort you want to put into that. You can decide where you want to be in
Yep.
that. But overall, I mean, effort is required. So if anyone coming into the hobby, you guys make it look so easy, right? they're not always seeing the behind the scenes stuff of all the work that you put into, like, you're going to this country and this country and this country, so you need to know this law, this permit, this, understand the geology of the land. What kind of tools do I need? All of that stuff. And it's nice that there are resources available to maybe bypass some of that stuff, right? But to understand that there was one person who didn't know all of this and they had to find all that information, it's a lot. So coming into the hobby and not thinking that there's not going to be any work, maybe that's where you say there's that threshold where you decide, maybe I just want to do this part of the hobby, or maybe I don't. But I personally found out that for myself, as I'm growing in the hobby, I started off surface collecting. And I really, really love the hard rock mining. I like putting in that work. And so that's where, that's where I'm at in the hobby. I didn't know that I would love it this much, because when I first started, I was like, God, this is a lot of work. But it's so rewarding. And I mean, there's nothing like putting in a whole day of mining, and of course, you don't always find things, but when you do, I mean, nothing beats that feeling.
Yeah, but you experienced it, and exactly that gives you the motivation or the feeling, hey, this is what I like or not. And both is good, but you experienced, hey, this is what I love. And
it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
It's sort of like playing an instrument where you could go to a concert and see people playing, or buy I was going to say CD and date myself, because people don't buy CDs anymore. But you could buy music, but if you get an instrument and you learn it and you practice, like, that is how you're going to get good at it. And it's the same thing with, I found with rock hounding, especially Minnesota, looking for like superior agates, as I'm sure Amber kind of experienced when she came out here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of looking in fields and trying to find the right rocks, and you really train your eye. And there is, getting into the right spot and the right conditions to find it. But then you also need the experience that really only just comes from doing
it
it.
more. Yeah.
And that's, I think, the one thing that people just need to understand, that you probably aren't going to be good when you start.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of resources, and mineral clubs are great resources too, where people will help you, maybe have guides that go on trips with you. But it's that putting in the time and the effort, and it just makes it that much more special when you find something.
We have such clubs in the Netherlands as well, that like mineralogy organizations that plan trips 2-3 times a year, and they just go to Germany or to Belgium. And I think that's a really good place to start, because you then don't need to really worry about, hey, am I doing the right thing? Am I at the right location? Because they've done all the preparation work for you. But it's a good start, because if you then experience how it is, then you can make that step that we did in doing your own preparation.
Independent.
And we always say, because Ben, you just mentioned people don't always see the effort. We get that question a lot as well. Then people look at a YouTube video and say, "Well, you guys find the nicest crystals," but we always say, "Okay, this is a 4-minute video,
right?
but it's a 4-day recording. Like, whoa, that much? Yeah, there's so much time and effort, and 99% of the time we're just moving rocks without finding any crystals. And you don't see that.
Yeah.
That's the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a hobby that you definitely have to have a passion for. That's for sure.
And a lot of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to share before we let go tonight?
Well, yeah. Maybe thanks for inviting us. It's for us also an honor. We'd like to get to know you as we do now, and we respect the hobby, respect your vision about it, and we liked it. I speak for us now, but I think Daniel will say the same.
I fully agree. Yeah, thank you so much for having us on the show. We really appreciate it, and
Thank you.
yeah, it's really nice that you guys do this and build up a community like this for people that have interest in crystals. So that's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for staying up so
Yes.
late to be on our podcast.
Yes.
It's 3 a.m. right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Get some rest, guys.
And hopefully, and we'll have this up on, if you for whatever reason missed this, we are going to have this up on YouTube, and the audio will be posted up on Sunday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those other podcast places as well. So with that, this is going to conclude season 3. So stay tuned for season 4. I know we've already got a couple guests lined up, some somewhat international too. I know we talked to someone that does mining for some agates in Argentina. We've got some other more lapidary artists too coming up. I'm sure I'm missing something, Amber, if you've got something else.
I've got some ladies that have a mine. It's North Carolina amethyst mine. 2 women who are co-owners of an amethyst mine, and also I'm not going to say the mine yet, but a Herkimer diamond mine. One of the owners will be a guest as well. So I don't want to spill all the beans now, but some great guests coming up for season 4.
All right. Well, and with that, thank you again for tuning in, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you,
and
guys.
if you visit Europe, you're welcome to come by.
Oh, you can count on that one.
Great.
We'll be waiting in the Alps for you guys.
I can't think of a better place than that.
Oh my God, no.
Yes. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you as well.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.